said that you had a list of top 20 hip hop songs of all time. What were some of
I
the?
lied.
Because I
I
know
lied.
that we want to collectively. I mean, I guess just let the people know we want to collectively come together with a list, the top hip hop songs of all time. I know that Rolling Stone just did a list of top 100 songs or whatever. They got Aretha Franklin's. Yeah, they got Aretha Franklin's "Respect" at number one. But again, we've seen the writers that
Hold
put
on, Mike.
this stuff
Mike, they got
together.
respect over Natural Woman.
Yeah, they do. We've seen the
Oh,
writers
Natural,
that put this stuff
natural.
together. Who
Okay.
knows who put this together?
I can
But
tell. How can? Okay,
we
like the vocal
figured to
performance from.
actually
Okay.
do something like this accurately that we would need the input of people. You know what I'm saying? And you people in the chat, what are some of the best hip hop songs of all time? I'm gonna give you the floor on what some of the songs were that you put together.
So I'm going to tell you actually how this conversation like really got started. Me and my man Kendron, we were like texting each other last night, and he was just telling me he was like, I feel like Rewind by Nas is the best rap song ever, and I was like. And I was like, and when he said it, I was like, I told him, I was like, I've never had this conversation about the greatest songs of all time with somebody's who opinion I respect that's inserted that into the conversation. And he was like, well, the tiebreaker is that it's backwards.
Well,
And
the thing
so,
is, that's more of a creative thing, right? Now, if we're talking
oh,
about the most creative songs lyrically, I would say yes. But there's more to a
Mike,
song than just that.
so no. So before we get into this, I want to say that because it doesn't have the epic moment or feel of the songs that I'm about to make, I get what Kendron is saying. And so here's what I think Rewind probably is. Rewind's probably the best B-side ever. It's probably the best album record ever. If you were to start measuring things on all level, like lyrical skill, timing, flow, vocal performance, execution. Because Mike, when I listened to the record, because me and him were having an "I Gave You Power" rewind conversation, because I told him I always thought Nas's best concept meets execution moment was "I Gave You Power," and he's like, well, that's a story too, and lyrically might be better. He was like, but Coop, he's like, it's in reverse. And this is what he said that is really telling about it. He was like, he's telling it in reverse and you understand it clearly even from the first time you hear it. He said that's almost impossible. He said most of these dudes tell you a story forward and you need to listen to it again because it lacks clarity.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
If Eminem made Rewind, there would be a music video for it. But go ahead.
Correct. Correct. And so Rewind's greatest injustice, Mike, when I look at it, is actually the fact that it's literally on an album with Ether. And track wise, it's stuck between one mic and You're the Man, one of his best nostalgic records and one of his biggest hits. It kind of gets lost, but my man Kendron is right. If I was picking the B side and we had to like measure it out, it would be Rewind. And also too, and so with that, it made me realize that the reason Rewind can't make my list is because the biggest rap songs of all time need visual aids, Mike. And that's the number one reason I can't put Rewind
I
on the
think the
list.
biggest songs of all time damn near have to be a single, too. Because when
Mike,
you start going into album songs being considered that, then anybody could start pulling songs out of everywhere.
Mike, and I totally agree with you, and that's why every one of these 25 songs that I've picked have been a single that have a video to them. And so I wrote some records down that aren't gonna make this list because of what I just said. Like, I don't know who shot you. You
Well,
feel me?
okay, to give people, and everybody's putting a whole bunch of songs in the chat, and I'm gonna get to those songs in the chat too. I
I'm
think I
gonna
just
list some of
said
those songs.
I think I just said earlier in the show that "Welcome to the Terror Dome" is my favorite Public Enemy song. But if I had to do a list, I'm putting
Right.
"Fight the Power" over that to put
So
all
Mike,
that in,
well, let's get started with the
context.
first song that I wrote down on my list, Mike, because you just named it, Mike. It's "Fight the Power," and I still think it's the best rap song of all time.
I'm
I
not mad at
can't.
that.
I mean, Mike, I'm not even gonna wax about it. Like, "Fight the Power." Like, if I gotta explain that shit to you and like what hip hop and like what this culture means and like what's going on, what's been going on, what other song embodies like what's going on with us in this culture?
And,
Listen to
and,
the
and, you know,
Mike.
th-
Mike, Mike, when you hear the name of the group is Public Enemy. The name of the song is "Fight the Power." Like, you know what time it is.
and it's not even just the message. It's just sonically how
And
it
it's brilliant.
matches the
No, no, no.
intensity. There's a lot of positive rap records, and it's interesting how Public Enemy. There's a lot of people who've taken that conscious lane that Public Enemy took, but no one really hits it with that level of aggression sonically. Like that shit sounds like no, it's time to move.
It's revolutionary,
Yeah,
Mike.
like that's stuff
Right,
you can listen to in the gym. And
right.
a lot of these conscious rappers, you can't listen to their shit in the gym unless they
No,
change up their message.
it's
They
very heavy.
the fact that Public Enemy is able to stay on message and give you that aggression, that makes them one of a kind to me.
One of ones in a one of one type of song. So
Yeah.
fight the power. And after that, I didn't have any necessary order, but I'm gonna run down my list. Award Tour by A Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm.
They Reminisce Over You by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Dear Mama by Tupac Shakur. One More Chance remix by the Notorious B.I.G.
Beautiful record.
Yep. I'll Be There For You, the Razor Sharp mix by Method Man featuring Mary J. Blige. Cream by Wu-Tang Clan. Nothing But a G Thing, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. My Mind Playing Tricks on Me, Ghetto Boys, has a video, thank God. Gin and Juice, Snoop Dogg. Mike, Jesus Walks, Kanye West.
I was gonna ask you if you had any songs in the 2000s in there.
Jesus Walks, Kanye West.
Okay.
Never Seen a Man Die, Scarface.
Great record. Chilling,
Shook Ones Part 2, Mobb Deep.
of course.
The World Is Yours, Nas. Children's Story, Slick Rick. Mike, What You Know About That by T.I.
You're very high on that song. That song was huge.
Mike,
And
it was the best rap song that year. It's one of the best rap songs of all time. I told you if I was picking one record to come out of this city that we had to tote around, that's the record I'm toting around, and I'm going to stand on it.
I think everybody's clear that that's T.I.'s best song. I remember when I first heard the record, and I knew immediately. And this is at a time where what? He's on King. We done heard all the In the Streets. We done heard the Down with the King. We done heard all the other albums. I'm like, this is his best song ever.
Mike, I might surprise you with my next two selections and surprise everybody because I kind of surprised myself. But Mike, Bling Bling and Ha are revolutionary.
Ha is revolutionary.
So is Bling Bling. Bling Bling is in the dictionary, Mike. Next.
It is. It is. It is. But Ha is a game changer.
And Mike, and here's what I mean. Wayne can still tote that around, and that's BG's record. That's how
So-
legendary.
So you don't think that Back That Thing Up is in this conversation? Because that's a song, and I always tell people we're gonna hear that song for the rest of our lives.
That's because of like the rhetoric, but Mike, I'm gonna say Bling Bling and Ha. I think those are the moments, and they're big moments. Mike.
Ha put Cash Money on the map, but Back That Thing Up took Cash Money to where it got to.
See, I don't agree with that. I think Bling Bling, when Bling Bling dropped, was when like I realized they were having a moment, Mike, because they had been on a run for a minute. Juvenile had his run. BG dropped Cash Money as an army, and then they came out with Bling Bling. I'm like, oh, so it's just okay. I'm like, yeah.
Back That Thing Up was on TRL, man. These guys weren't even supposed to be on TRL.
I'm not saying it's not a monster. I'm just saying I'm gonna take Ha and Bling Bling. And Mike, California Love, Juicy. Mike, you're gonna like this, Mike. When I looked at it, I was like, I think Ice Cream is one of the 25 best rap songs. That beat, Mike.
Can I be 100% right here?
Yep.
And I say this respectfully, because you know how I feel about Biggie.
Yeah.
I don't like Juicy as much as most people do. I don't, man. Like I don't. I liked it when it came out. Maybe it's overplayed or something. I don't know, man.
It's overplayed, Mike. You're tripping.
I don't think Juicy is one of.
Mike. I mean, I play Mike. When I play Ready to Die, I skip over Juicy and I play Everyday Struggle. But that's just how I do. Like Juicy is still what like it is. Like,
when I play Life, you're right. Whenever I play Ready to Die, I'm not playing Juicy. You know
Mike,
what?
but Mike, this is what I'm talking about. Like hip hop is about moments and memories, and like Mike, when that beat drops, Mike, I've been in like I've been in international clubs, Mike. I've been in clubs with mixed crowds. I've been in all black clubs, Mike. When that song comes on, every person in the building knows every single last
No,
word.
it's
It
one
was
of
all a
those.
dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. So Mike, people start looking at each other and vibing. No, it's a whole thing.
Listen, no,
No,
I understand why it's on the list. I'm just being honest. Like I never, it's not one of my favorites. Even from
well,
just
Mike,
his catalog.
let's go to something that you do like, Mike. What would I told you if I thought "Sipping on Some Scissor" by 3 6 was one of the 25 best rap songs
Really?
ever?
It's not one of
Mike,
my favorites from them either.
Mike, I think it's their best Mike, I think it's their best single, and you want to know why I
Who
like it?
run it's their best single? If we want to talk commercial shit and being able to balance it, who run it's their best?
No, Mike, but it's not their best performance.
Tear
And
the
what,
club up's their best. I'm sorry. No.
Mike, will
Yeah.
you let me finish?
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
There are these two guys from Port Arthur, Texas, that are on sipping on some scissor, and man, they showed out on that record.
They did.
And so that was I don't think people remember that was a moment when they got together to do that. Yeah. And after that, Mike, you're gonna like this too. My last choice was actually "Cell Therapy" by Goody Mob.
Cell Therapy is one of the greatest hip hop songs ever made.
And you want to know what else I realized in all this too? There's not one Outkast record on here because Outkast is actually more great at the B side than the A side. Benzorabima, Over the Woods,
Yeah.
Hootie Hoo,
Their singles are. What is Outkast's best single to you?
Elevators.
I'm not mad at that. I would say Elevators or Bonds Over Bad Dad. And I say Bonds Over Bad Dad because, again, I've said before, I think that one song encapsulates what that group is about, like in all, you know what I mean? Like if there was one song that you could play for someone to understand what kind of group this is, I'm playing Bombs Over Bad Dad.
And Mike, I did put a star by one record though, and I didn't quite know how to qualify, and I wanted to know what you thought about it, Mike. When I look back at Outkast, first rap group to win album of the year, first rappers to win album of the year, correct?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, Lauren technically, but yeah,
Not a rap album.
I got
There's
you.
no rap.
Yeah.
Not enough rap to qualify as a rap album. So, Mike, the two big singles off each side were "Hey Ya," which took almost all the recognition, but the other single, Mike, "The Way You Move,"
Mm-hmm.
Big Boy with Sleepy Brown, Mike. I got a star next to that record. That would be the next record that I would actually put in here. That
I'm
record was
surprised that
massive.
you don't have a Paid in Full or I Ain't No Joke or My Philosophy or The Message.
Mike, Mike, no, I'm sorry. I got Eric B as president. I must have missed one. I do have Eric B as president right here. I thought I said that.
Yeah, Eric B as
I thought I
president
said
is
that.
one
That's
of the
my bad.
greatest.
I have Children's Story and Eric B as president right next to each other. That's my bad.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's my bad, Mike. When you were saying that, I was like, who the hell are you talking to, Mike? Like, you know what's up, Mike? No. That's my bad. Yeah, I got Eric B as president on here. That just means I missed one. We got into the bling bling ha thing, and I skipped over it by accident.
Okay. The Terminator says no incarcerated Scarfaces.
Not his like 25. I picked Ice Cream over Incarcerated Scarfaces because, well, one, and it seems crazy to say this, the beat is slightly better. And Meth on the hook and the bridge and the verses and the whole video with
Ice
the
Cream is
truck
better
and
than Incarcerated
RZA ringing the bell on the ice cream truck. You know, it's just
listen, man. That's one of the moments that changed my life. I say that song and when Method Man and Redman did How High. That song.
Like I thought about How High.
How High is a game changer for me personally.
So here's the thing, Mike. Can I tell you something about How High? I actually like the version they put on the radio more than the original that went on the soundtrack. I did.
Oh, me too.
That's why I didn't pick it. Okay, so I didn't know which version to pick, Mike, because both of them, Mike. Yeah.
You talking about the Fly, Robin Fly?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lyric at your door. To Cal, bring it to that ass raw. Breaking all the rules like glass jaws. Fucker.
I mean, look, that song, that's their first collaboration, and they just sounded like they were supposed to be together.
The cows and stays open like an all night store for
Hey,
real.
but
Like you
that
said,
last
yeah,
verse that
like the beast
Redman
of blue
had on there,
square.
man. That
Oh yeah,
last
that shit
verse that Redman had on there.
in your existence. MET. You
I
know, you
slip like the
slurs
clutch with the ruck.
the
Examine
beat.
mine until I don't stop till I get enough. 6 million
Six
ways to die, so
ways.
I chose. Made it six
Made
million and one with their
6 million
eyes
with your
closed, a
eyes closed and
blindfold,
one
cold, so you can feel
cold.
the
You can
wrath.
feel it. And shatter the glass in second half on your funky ass. Hey, yo, my man.
Yo, man, I'm sorry, man. That for me. That's a personal one. I
Mike,
love
that's
that
that's what
record.
I'm saying. That was personal for me. Like
Yeah,
that's personal for me. Yeah, that's
that
personal
whole
for me.
Blackout album too, which came years later. That shit was personal for me too. I really wish that Red and Meth would have dropped the album in '96 when they were on that shit. But when they dropped Blackout, I loved it still, man. Like that's a personal favorite for me.
RZA produced Run for Cover on there. That was one of those RZA beats I had written down like in the pocket that people forgot about.
Run for Cover was crazy, and
Yeah,
Ghostface went sick on there. So did Street Life. It's the
yeah,
cynical,
no,
critical, rap individual. On my deathbed, I spit sick flows is critical. I'm not a fan of this. I'm a Mike Vandalist. Thug Therapist. My clan's too original. I liked Serial Killer too on there.
no, they had some stuff on there.
Yeah, so all right, from that list and what we see in the chat here, man, I think we're gonna be able to try to compile a top 20 list. Now, what I was gonna ask you, what were some things that you considered when putting this list together?
Like Mike, I felt like you did. I thought to be fair, it needed to have a video, be a single, not necessarily the first single, but it needed to be a single. It needed to have a video. It needed to be considered to be a hip hop classic song that was considered to be a classic, not only like on hip hop radio, but also like within our culture. So that would kind of be my caveats. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean. That's why records like Who Shot You and Life's a Bitch are not on here. Like, Life's a Bitch is better than The World Is Yours to me, and Who Shot You is better than Juicy. But
People are
under
bringing up Life's a Bitch in here too. Yeah. Okay.
Mike, literally on the B side of my list, I have Who Shot You, Life's a Bitch, The Evils, Verbal Intercourse in order. Like, I feel you. No
Incredible
videos.
records, but yeah, yeah.
Video. Mike, I got Jackin' for Beats, Benz or Beamer, Thought Process, Armed Robbery, Hootie Hoo, Drink Away the Pain, A Million and One Questions, Rhyme No More.
A million and one special. A
It
million and
is,
one
Mike.
special.
You want to know, Mike? You want to know what I realized? I like to beat the rhyme no more than the million and one questions.
Do
Actually,
you? I
I
can't
do. I
say
just
that.
realized it the other day when they played